Yo, what's good, YouTube? What's good? It's STORMYBMAN, and I am back welcoming you to the post-fight show with STORMYBMAN. And we are here to talk about the day's events, the boxing cards that were on today, and we're going to get right down into it. I got my man Boxing Conversations with Reggie Owens in the house with me, and we're going to get down to it for this Saturday, June 19th, 2021. We had some good fights today, and hey, man, it was another full day of fight cards there, Reggie. What do you got to say about that? How you doing this evening? You there? If you're there, I can't hear you, bro. You might want to pop out and pop back in. I don't know what's going on. I'll take a moment to welcome everybody we got out there in the chat, because we got a few people out there. We got Jason Giles out there, says, what a war between two lions. Yeah, you know, we saw Maul challenged a little bit today, and that's a good thing. You know, we ask that of the fighters from time to time, and you'd be surprised who's the person that'll do it. You know, that's always a surprise, but hey, we welcome it, right? Competition. You know, that's what it's all about. So, yeah, Reggie, pop out and pop back in if you cause we can't hear you, bro.
Can you hear me? Test.
I hear you now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it was like it was muted or something at first. How you doing?
Man, doing good. My heart was racing. Very good fights today.
Yeah, man. I was just kind of gonna go through some of the people that's in the chat out there. Jimmy Bernard is out there, says salute Stormy. What's good, chat? TS Boxing is out there, says good job by that bum Montiel for such a limited fighter. He put in work, and he says salute Stormy in the chat. DT channel members out there, says salute STORMYBMAN in the chat. Silvestrio is out there, says salute Stormy, and Jason Giles says Charlo versus Canelo. And he's calling for it twice. Shelton Moore is out there, says STORMYBMAN, salute big bro, salute to you. Taylor Bell is out there, says my man Inoue was chopping the tree, killed his opponent with like 13 body shots. Yeah, when you know what to do, it don't take all day. You know what I mean? You get in there, you do your thing, and you get on out of there. You know, that's the way. And that's what Monster Inoue was able to do this evening. It's funny because, you know, maybe Mel should have adopted that plan, going in there and bang their body and break this guy down. Who else we got? Alvin Davis out there, says salute STORMYBMAN, salute to you. Kenneth Johnson is out there, says salute Stormy and Reggie. TS Boxing, Tyrone says I ride with Wilder. The Charlos are the ones who are the haters. I don't mess with those guys. Hey, man, we're doing the post-fight show, Tyrone. Don't worry about all that. We don't have to get political and take sides. We just going to cover what the fights were we watched today, you know. 88 Sports Talk is out there, says salute STORMYBMAN. Watcher is out there, says salute Stormy. Listening in. Appreciate that. And 88 says, and Reggie. Let's see. My man Shakers and Dice is out there, says salute to the dynamic duo. Peace to the chat. Appreciate you. Taylor Bell says Inoue looks like number 3 on pound for pound. Excellent fight tonight. Of course, his opposition was not the best, but he did what he was supposed to do. Knock out his opponent in 4 rounds. That don't make him number 3, though. He got a lot more to do to get up to number 3 as far as I'm concerned. Unscripted Virtuoso says, salute Stormy B-Man and the chat. Salute to you. And Shelton Moore says, does this fight say more about Mel or Montiel? We're going to get to it. TS Boxing, Tyrone says, and Jamel talking about sending shooters after Wilder. Silvestrio says, Benavidez or Andre will be a good fight next. Unscripted Virtuoso says, I said it's going to be the year of the body shot. Jason Giles says, Stormy B-Man, love you, brother. Love you, too. And let's see. And everybody else is just making their personal comments. So, Reggie, let's start with Mr. Inoue and dial it back, because apparently they were definitely stringing his show out to be the feature of the evening with all the boxing that was taking place, because that man, you know, the time that it took between after Mayer's fight ended and his fight began, man, it was like almost an hour. You know, they was talking and running TV commercials and everything. But let's go ahead and get down to Monster Inoue and his performance for the evening. What are your opening thoughts and remarks on the fight?
He made it quick, easy, and fast, man. That kid can fight. Monster Inoue can really fight, and he makes quick, good, easy adjustments in fights, and the power is real, and his placement of punches is real. And that guy felt every single punch, man. I didn't realize how Inoue kind of skinned the punch along the ribs and probably did a lot of damage with that punch. It looks like it hit at the tip of the ribs, and that can be painful, and also can be a point of cracking or even getting those ribs to flex. That guy felt that power from it. And even early in the fight, man, Inoue walked him into a nice short left, almost like that left hook he knocked that last guy in his last fight out with. The kid is very skilled. I gotta give him his credit, because even he was in there with another fighter who moved around well, who had very good footwork, and Inoue still found a way of cutting this guy off. He's a crafty dude, very smart dude, works his power well, but utilizes his boxing first, and it's just his ability to place punches well that separates it. And this guy kind of was a little bit nervous when he got clipped with that short left he walked into early in the fight. I think he was getting a little bit nervous from that, and then the body shot really changed everything. Just the way Inoue was set it up, work him to the head, hit him down to the left side of the body, give him to open up over here, then catch him to the body again. He just knew where to hit the guy, seen the guy was really hurt there, went to work, and it paid off. Easy work.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I've seen the look of guys like, what was his name? Das Morenas. I've seen the look of guys like that before. He looked like a deer with caught in the headlights. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, he looked like one of them animals out in the wild that been surrounded by a pack of jackals, man. It's like he just fell to pieces when they came together for the fighter's instructions from the ref. He up there giving dap to everybody and everything. I thought he was going to keep dapping everybody in the arena and hope that the fight didn't start. The bell for the first round didn't start. And little resistance. I didn't like the way he performed at all. They say he had came in off of several knockouts, but I don't know how true that was. You know, I don't know how true that was, because he didn't look that impressive at all, you know. And to me, it was just one of those things where he was in there, but he wasn't in there to present no problems. And that seems to be the way that they do things on ESPN, man, really. I've seen them end cards on the hour when another show is supposed to be scheduled to begin or something like that. I've seen them do things, and it's like this is kind of like right in line with that. You know, a very familiar situation. So I don't know, man. But I mean, what were your thoughts, Reggie, on that? What I presented there? Hey, we got a buffering problem. Come on. This is crazy. One second. Can you hear me, Reg? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Man, I don't know what the hell happened here just now. It did freeze up, and it looked like I had to go into my settings for my Wi-Fi for some reason. I don't know what. I wasn't even on the. Dude, this is just ridiculous. Unbelievable, man. This stuff happens just out of the blue. I'm trying to double check.
What's the weather like out there?
The weather is good. We're not having any bad weather or storms or anything.
Said the Wi-Fi is the Wi-Fi got to be back if we talking on here.
Huh?
Your Wi-Fi is back, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to I was trying to go into my Wi-Fi settings to double check and make sure everything is connected like it needs to, because on my end it's saying for my chat, where my chat is supposed to show up, it's saying no connection. And I don't know why. It just kind of froze up or something, which was really weird. On one of my tablets, I could see it did come back. But my laptop is not responding. This is amazing how this stuff happens, man. If I didn't know no better, I swear to God, there's somebody that knows how to get inside and do something, cause problems.
This technology freezes. I don't think nobody hacking in it. They'll shut your whole computer down if they did.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like on one of my tablets, it's saying that the internet was lost. No, it says I'm offline. On my other tablet, it came back. So I don't know what the hell. But you hear me all right, right? Can you like
Yeah, you clear.
double check with the chat and see while I kind of do a little troubleshooting real quick?
Yeah, test. Can you hear it? Test.
Like, can you write something in the chat?
Yeah, I'm typing right now.
That is totally weird. Okay, I got my second tablet back. For whatever reason, the Wi-Fi just stopped.
I just heard you right now over the live stream.
Yeah. That's weird. I apologize for that, people. For whatever reason, the Wi-Fi just went out, and there's no bad weather or anything, but we back, and we're going to continue to cook. I had left off asking Reggie, what were your thoughts about Das Marinas coming in and looking so scared, like a deer in headlights, because he spent that first couple of rounds just running around. And, I was like, you can run, but you can't hide. Eventually, you're going to get tired. You're going to have to slow down. Then you're going to get hit, and it's going to be over. And that's exactly what happened. I was just wondering, what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, he looked a little bit shook, but I think more of he thought he was going to get off. Yeah. But as soon as that punch came in so early in the fight, and he began to feel the power of Monster, and realizing the stature of who Monster is, profile-wise, I think he began to kind of he began to show a lot of respect to Monster, and he showed a little bit of fear. He showed that his heart was being taken away, and then when the body shot came, he just began to start feeling the power of that guy, because he started moving around. He moved very well, but he wasn't throwing any punches along with it. And when he opened himself up, it just opened more for Inoue to be able to punch on him. And as well as he moved, Inoue moved just as effectively, able to cut him off to get his work off. Inoue's just complete guy, real complete dude.
Well, I'll tell you, interesting that you mentioned Inoue's ability to move and keep up with him. That's the one thing that I could say. It's not the only thing, but it's one thing I like to point out about Inoue, and he has good feet. It's amazing how he understands the physiology and cutting off the ring and keeping himself in a position to get his shots off, because he's a puncher. He's a boxer puncher with a real heavy punch. And he knows how to cut the ring off, and he also gives an angle. So, like, even if you move a certain way or a certain direction, he can still get his shot off, and it's a damaging blow. If you move to the left, he knows what to do. If you move to the right, he knows what to do. So it's obvious that they know exactly what they're doing in their training, and he has worked very hard at what he does, because it's real simple for him. And I think what they've done, I mean, I'm not inside, I don't claim to have like inside information on their camps or nothing like that, but I will say, knowing that he punches like he does, they probably work tremendously hard at that, on guys moving away from him and staying away and things like that. That's very good, because it shows up in the fight. Even when he was fighting Donaire, in that late round when he dropped Donaire with that body shot, you know, Donaire has good lateral movement and everything, but he caught him and he got that body shot in, and Donaire kind of ran away. You know, he ran away to the side or something, and then he dropped and took a knee. It was like really weird. But Monster knows how to cut that ring off. And you got to give him a lot of credit because that's something that used to be an art. You know, they would teach guys how to do this, and traditionally sliding over and cutting the ring out, closing the distance down all at the same time and working behind jabs and whatnot. It's a lost art. You don't see a lot of guys doing that today. You really don't. You could talk about cutting the ring off till the cows come home, but he's quite effective at it. And I think that's another reason that he gets the knockouts that he gets, because he knows exactly how to do it. He's a guy who punches very well to the body, and that type of pressure applied on a guy who's trying to escape, that's a lot of mental pressure. And he's able to get over on these guys and be successful in doing that. So that's what I had to say about that. But the opponent, Das Marinas, he was in over his head tremendously tonight, Reg.
Yeah, no, most definitely was. Most def.
So, yeah, I see some people still writing in the chat. We can hear you now, but we went away. Yeah, it was beyond our control, people. But we're back, and glad you guys decided to stick around. I think we had a few more than a couple may have dropped off, but I apologize for that. That was beyond our control. Let's dial it back to the what was really considered the main event of the evening, the Jamal Charlo and Montiel fight. What were your thoughts on this fight, Reggie? Were you able to watch it?
Able to watch it? Heck yeah.
No, I mean, I didn't know, because, you know, sometimes you'll make a decision to watch one card or the other, or you be doing both. I didn't know what you were up to, because I had both my tablets going for ESPN and Showtime myself, so I was doing it the same thing.
Oh, heck yeah, I watched this fight, man. Almost had the first heart attack watching the fight, man. This was a super exciting fight, and salute to Montiel for coming in here and not laying down, not falling into what people think of a fighter because they don't know him. And that's the mistake so many people in this country make, because boxing ain't just an American sport. We got people from all over this country who are other places, but it's a good thing that whoever scouted this guy to bring him in here, that this guy end up coming in being real. I know he's a guy that fought James Kirkland, when seeing the way he did James Kirkland, but didn't think too much of him because of where James Kirkland was at in his career. But even in the early start of this fight, he looked super nervous in his fight. I would say he fought like he was out of the 1920s or something. And I thought Charles was going to walk through this guy because of how he looked. He looked very, very nervous. He's moving a lot, hanging over in those corners as he's moving, having to grab the ropes. I think just at this moment, because even he stated in his post-fight, like, this was good experience for him. I think early on, he had to settle his nerves, and I think that's why he's probably a little bit loose up on his legs. And after probably about the mid part of that second round, more into the third round, he began to kind of gather himself and compose himself and start coming back forward at Charlo. And even when he got hurt very bad, and this guy's still on his feet. I thought he was going to sleep, but Charlo just couldn't get that punch in needed to knock the guy out. And the guy was just tough as nails and would tell Charlo to come on. Charlo said he was talking mess to him, and this guy was a true warrior. And he was connecting on Charlo. He was landing strong, solid punches on Charlo that showed in the way that Charlo's eye looked. This guy was powerful as heck, and it shows in every single victory this guy has are knockout victories, and that began to make me worried that this guy was going to end up scoring something that would have knocked Charlo out. Charlo ended up having a whole a moment to this fight. Charlo was rocked, I think 2 or 3 times in this fight. This guy was very, very strong, and he came in here with the thoughts of defeating Charlo and becoming a champion. And I mean, it didn't show on the scorecards because he just didn't do enough each of these rounds, but he was putting enough power in them shots that really started to affect Charlo. And even as Charlo started to tire down the line in the fight, it became a very, very dangerous fight. You seen it in the look on his wife. You seen it on the look of some of his close friends and family that they were concerned for Charlo in this fight. This Montiel dude came, showed up, and he showed out a little bit as far as what he was able to do, how worrisome he made this fight look. It was a very worrisome fight being there with Montiel. He's made a great name for himself, and as well as Charlo, because Charlo had to dig deep against a very strong fighter with a very strong chin. This is just this was a epic fight right here. I got no complaints. That was a 10 for 10 fight for me. Super exciting. That was my thoughts with that.
Yeah, and there's something to be said about these guys. You know, I've talked about this in the past about them little thin, reedy guys, and that's what Montiel was. But it's obvious that he has heavy hands. But he can't box. For all the tactics and antics, excuse me, that he tried this evening, the man can't box a lick. If you saw how many jabs he threw and how many jabs he landed, dude, I think it was under 20 or something. The guy just was, it was really ridiculous, because if he had a semblance of boxing ability, that fight would have been a lot closer. My way of scoring the fight, I gave him rounds that he didn't earn on everyone else's scorecards. And you know why, Reg? It was because he began to walk Maul down. He began to walk Ball down. And Maul didn't have an answer for that. But he was still scoring, and the other guy wasn't scoring as well or as much. And I'm like, wow. You know what? It wouldn't surprise me if Canelo saw this fight and decided to fight him by early next year or something. It wouldn't surprise me at all, because there are points of reference in the ring that Maul has issues with, and it was really exposed tonight by a guy who wasn't afraid of contact. Now, let's just say that Montiel and Canelo are two different fighters, but Canelo is very elusive. He can make you throw shots so he can land his counters, and he knows how to move off of shots that you throw. And Maul is very basic with his arsenal. So it didn't look good from a certain perspective. But I'll say this, just like in the event with Shakur Stevenson, he won every round, but there were things that the other guy did tactically that you could just see it made him uncomfortable. Now imagine if the man's boxing ability was on par. Let's just say, you know, at the level. Because Maul was the better fighter tonight, definitely. But what if he's fighting a guy that's on par with him? You know, is Demetrius Andrade that guy? Maybe. Is Canelo that guy? I think Canelo is definitely on par with him. But you know what you have to take off the table? Any consideration whatsoever of David Benavidez. He better stay the hell away from David Benavidez. Because that walk him down part that Montiel did, that's where that guy excels. And Maul was looking winded after 6 or 7 rounds. Because his output, he was trying to put everything on his shots. He's trying to knock the guy out instead of setting a knockout up. And Montiel could take it. you know. And when you got a guy who could take it, you have to know what to do to guys like that. It's like everybody you hit on the chin ain't gonna go, you know. And everybody that you fight, they're not gonna look at you as the big bad monster, and I should, you know, fold up and go run and hide because you're here now. No, it's guys out there, they relish challenging you and trying to take your heart and trying to make you lose confidence and everything. And if you ask me, I think that that's what Montiel was doing tonight. He was enjoying frustrating Maul and making him feel like, nah, you can't get me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's the way he fought. He was more than happy to be in there in the thick of things. At some point, I don't even know if he was like really trying to win, but just continued to put his finger in the cut, so to speak, and press it where the pain is. That's kind of what he was doing. And Maul was getting hit late when he got winded and tired. He don't have a lot of head movement. He wasn't slipping shots and stuff. Them shots was landing. That's why his eye was jacked up. So you know, there's a lot to be said. I mean, what are your thoughts? You got a counterpoint or a different point to make off of what I said?
Yeah. No, because I don't agree with that. I thought it was just a fight. It was just being in there with a tough guy. I don't think it takes nothing away that he can't hang with them other guys that are out there. He's just in front of a guy who was very strong. Pretty sure Montiel put a ton of work inside that camp. He just had a style. I mean, there's things Maul's going to have to work on. He's going to have to implement something new in camp when he has these guys that he can't get out of there, because it's a second very tough fight. But Montiel just came in. You may never see this type of Montiel, or this may be who Montiel is. He's just going to be a tough guy for any guy he steps in there with. We just have to see what step-up fights he gets. Hopefully they bring him right back. I think he's just a tough guy. It was Charlo even rocked this guy multiple times in his fight, couldn't get the guy out of here. This wasn't a guy who wasn't going to go out. Very, very tough dude. Even when he was hurt, he told Charlo to come forward. Couldn't get him out of there. Then he started to get his work off. He's very, very strong. Very, very strong puncher. And Charlo was hurt in this fight. And I think that's what took a lot out of Charlo. Even before he got tired, he was hurt. That guy rocked Charlo. I don't think, forget what he hit Charlo with. I think he may have hit Charlo with an uppercut at one moment. Charlo wobbled a little bit. It was, matter of fact, I think it was in the 5th round, and Montiel did not recognize that he had Charlo hurt. Then he hurt Charlo again. Charlo began to have to hold on. And then also with his punch output, he started to tire out. And he sitting in front of a guy he couldn't get out there. And it was dangerous to be tired because this guy was strong. This is a super strong guy. The only problem with Montiel, he doesn't throw enough punches. And that's the reason why he couldn't, in my book, he couldn't pull off any rounds. He's just strong, man. It was nothing to take away from that. Who's to say that Andrade can take those punches? I don't think that means Andrade's going to do the same thing. I think Charlo dusts off Andrade. Canelo and going to be problems for him.
Well, see,
Jamal just has to add.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just think Charlo has to add something into camp. He has to add something in the camp. Defense has to get better too. The defense definitely has to improve with Charlo. Combination work. When Charlo's throwing off combinations, I think he leaves himself open. When he goes in for some of those shots leaves opening for counters as well. It's just training camp. They have to implement something that allows him to get out greater output and as well as keep his cardio in shape. And also when he needs to take off moments in the fight, he has to start doing that. But I think he should be good until I don't think he's moving up to 168 because he made that clear he's gonna stay at 160. He don't want the Benavidez problems. Him and Canelo gonna be. I think Canelo can beat him. I ain't gonna lie about that, but I want to see the fight. But I think if he can change something, add some more stuff in the training camp, maybe we get a different trial. But these are just good guys he faced. It's nothing to take away from those guys or take away from him. Just in there with a tough guy, and that's what happens. Some guys you can look flashy and flare against guys, but you get these guys who like some dang. Opponent that Terminator goes up against, like, you gonna see that. It was just a great fight.
Yeah, I mean, mind you, I was offering critique of, my findings. I'm not saying that you know, can his punches, get another guy out of there. There's another way to look at things too. When you talk about a guy like Demetrius Andrade who can box, he's a better boxer than Maul is. Maul has a nice, heavy, stiff jab, but he doesn't have the boxing acumen that Demetrius have. But Demetrius has never been in a fight where a step up level fight where he fought someone that's supposed to be his equal and stuff like. He's always fought guys that he was like on paper better than. Like Maul at least fought, what he fought what's my man's name? J-Rock. And he fought Derevyanchenko. He fought guys who were, at a world class level like he is and everything, not just a bunch of setups and stuff like that, even when he was at 154. So it's like, we haven't seen that from Andre. We wanted to see it and we don't know, but I do believe his boxing ability makes a difficult fight for anybody that's opposite him. But this is why we need to see the fights. We've talked about this ad nauseum, that it's like we hate the fact that we have to look at these events or potential events as, like fantasy fights right now. It's like nobody's doing anything. Nobody is stepping up and taking on the challenges. And this was a night where he was in with a guy that he was favored to defeat, and he didn't look very well. So maybe other people will be emboldened by his performance and say, maybe I'll have a better chance now or whatever. And don't forget, he's 31, So it's like some people, Father Time catches up, in different ways. Now, I'm not trying to say he's old and over the hill. No, I'm not trying to say that. But what I'm saying is, it's not like he's 28 anymore. It does make a difference. And I'll say this too. When you're fighting quality opposition after quality opposition, which is kind of like what his brother was doing, you stay a little bit sharper because, as they say, and in cliche, steel sharpens steel. It's like you can't be fighting these guys that you can't really get up for, and that may on paper not necessarily be the true challenge that you need them to be, because you'll have a night like this and then people will be like, oh, see, I told you this guy so-and-so, and that's not really your fault, because, everybody gets motivated, when you have that name across from you that you've been, chomping at the bit for. But hey, he got the job done tonight. We'll see what's on the horizon for him. It's just interesting how you got a lot of talent kind of clustered around one another, and how these men just continue to, like, it's like when you ever had two magnets and they connect, but when you flip them on their back, how when you try to push them together, they repel, it's like anti-magnet, This is how these men act in boxing today, when they're all gathered together in the sport, and they're not fighting each other, and they don't want to fight each other, and they're not motivated, even not by money. They're not motivated. So it's like we just need to see better matchups. And hey, that's what it is. And he did win the fight. He won every round. But I saw problems in there, and that whole thing about walking him down. You know who's really good at that? Canelo. Canelo is good at walking people down, and he's very adept at slipping shots on the way in and stuff like that. And he can make you miss and counter. He can make you miss. And when you throw in hard shots like he was throwing tonight, you get tired when you miss, So, hey, you know. But it is what it is, you know. He got another defense under his belt, and hopefully he could get one of these named fighters sometime, you know, in the ensuing months of the rest of this year or early next year. But one last thing, Reggie. These guys need to fight more often, man. They really be sitting up on the shelf, man. And I know they showed his house and all of that. He's living nicely and all of that. But it's like, dude, your prime can pass you by just from your inactivity alone. And we did see something on the scale this time, didn't we? He was like,
oh yeah,
a little bit over. Not enough to jeopardize losing his belt, but that's how it begins. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, he shrugged it off and said it wasn't a big deal, but hey, when you're going in there against somebody that you really need to be tight for, and you find it's hard to lose the weight in the gym and stuff, not because you got, you know, too big or something, but because your inactivity, your body is changing, because you know, your body changes as you age too. I remember Ali when he was training for George Foreman. He was 32 years old. And he said, I'm running every day. He was telling a group of reporters, he was like, the thing that worries me, he's like, is this belly of mine. He was like, I'm running every day and exercising like I should. And he's like, every day I look in the mirror, my belly is the same size. And he was like grabbing his stomach. And, you know, that's the thing. It's like, okay, age, you're 32. You're not 28 no more. And 28 is supposed to be like a real prime age for a boxer. So, hey, it happens. Salute to my man, Mr. Gumbo out there, who just became a member of the channel. Salute to you, Mr. Gumbo. It says, welcome to the Todai, the beginning level. Salute and enjoy the perks of the channel, my man. So, welcome. Yeah, so, any other thoughts on that, Reggie?
Yeah, I agree with you about that the activity of these guys. These guys gotta stay in this ring, and Charlo should be back in here in 3-4 months. He got to get back in here. No time to waste. Get these fights made. No, he's calling for Triple G. We're gonna see Triple G fight one fight. Triple G gonna want to sit out for another 12 months. No, he wants to unify these titles, but he got to keep himself active. He can't let things slide, and especially at this point in the 30s. Because things change dramatically, like you were saying, as you age, especially in those 30s where everyone who speaks about these dramatic changes they go through as far as their energy levels and all that stuff, people doing in the comical sense about it, but it's also just touching on how things have changed due to the aging process. And he's up there. The one way to kind of slow down that process is to remain active, and he got to get back in there. So he should be back in here. What is this, June, maybe by October or something, be back into another fight. Keep it rolling. Also keep that training camp. And I think should be in the gym implementing those things needed to in camp. Because he's gonna get guys that ain't gonna go nowhere. These guys are strong, they ain't going nowhere. This ain't 154 no more. So he has to implement these things in camp. Get better defensively, stay tight, because now these guys are punching with the same kind of power he has. I think it's the first time he's been in here with someone who was a bigger puncher than him, and that's why his face looked the way it looked. He got to put more better. He rolls well with the head, but he can't get in there to where he likes to sit there to sit up on his punches. He has to get better with that, covering up, keeping those hands up, and stop leaning it forward. He's getting hit with a lot of uppercuts.
Yeah, as boxers, you know, they know what to do when you do those kind of things. That's why, you know, it's funny. We could talk about it, but it's like, what happens when you fight someone on paper that it's a pick'em fight? See, mind you, this man has been fighting people on paper that when you look at it, it's like, okay, yeah, he should beat this guy. Derevyanchenko was probably the last guy that he fought that people thought would give him a challenge. You know, it's like he was still favored to win, but it's like this could be a tough fight for Maul, right? And then I think you have to go back to, what was it? Maybe J-Rock at 154 when they fought, and it was like, okay, you know. Now, you know what's interesting? His brother is a better boxer, but at 154, what would it have been like had he had to fight Tony Harrison? That would have been very interesting, because Tony Harrison can really box, you know? So, and mind you, I'm not trying to be a detractor of his accomplishments or anything. I'm just pointing out the factors of, like, when you talk about the sport of boxing, it's great to be able to have a power punch. It's great to be able to have a strong jab and everything. But think about his lateral movement and footwork. He's more of plodding than he is gliding. So it's like there are some things that someone else can take advantage of. And if you mix and equate boxing into the mix, it becomes a totally different situation. But I think all of that will also change if he were to become more active. If you're fighting more frequently, your muscles and muscle memory is, you know, is spontaneous. It can move when you need it to move. The guy's been cooling for a long time. When's the last time he fought? Was it on that card where he and his brother were on Showtime? Or was it the Deverenchenko? When was the last time he fought, Reggie?
I think Deverenchenko. I see somebody said 9 months.
That's a long time in the sport of boxing. You know, it's a long time because, you know, things can happen, man. It's just something to consider, you know. Like I say, ain't trying to be overly critical or nothing like that, but just an acknowledgement, you know, just a total acknowledgement. I want to say salute to the village brother out there. For me, it's hard to stay hungry when you sleep in silk pajamas. That is very true. Marvin Hagler talked about that, man. He coined that phrase. Put that out there. He let people know it's hard. Get up, run in the morning and all of that. When you know, got those sheets, silk sheets. He talked about it. Marvelous Marvin. But salute and thank you for the super chat there, village brother. Appreciate you. So Reggie, let's get back on the card for, well, no, let's go back to the fight before on there, for the Showtime card. What did you think of that previous fight? What was his name? Alameda and Leo. Is that the one?
Oh yeah. I thought.
You faded out. You there? You faded out, Rich. Excuse me, people. I think we're having a technical moment again with Reg. Yo. I don't know why they playing around with us tonight. It's kind of goofy. Reg. You there, Reg? Yo. Yo, you there?
Back in, but I don't hear you. Let me see. I'll keep going. I'll keep holding it down.
Yeah.
Till we get you back on.
I had to go out and come back in myself, man. I don't know what's going on with this, man. It's crazy though.
Yeah, I just kept it going because I was still on. I see you dropped off, so I just kept it going.
Yeah, it's cool. I couldn't hear you though, but I apologize, man. I don't know what I really, this could be something in the airwaves because it has everything to do with the signal. It's not me, it's not my device or anything. It's like the Wi-Fi or something is tripping. It happens though. We'll work with it as we can.
Right. I still see the same number of people in there, so we should be good.
Okay. So I wasn't able to hear your comments on that fight, but I had it like around one round ahead for Alameda. But I wasn't mad at the fact that Leo won because there were a lot of close rounds where, you call them swing rounds because it could have given it to either guy, and you can't get mad one way or the other. But one thing that I'm trying to get his name correct, Angelo. The one thing that he did do was he showed a lot of spirit in there, Reggie, at certain points of the fight. Like Alameda was like winning a round, but then he would pick it up and take the round back, and you like to see that from a fighter. You know what I mean? You like to see a fighter go out and put the effort in to secure a round and not just coast through a round. And he managed to do that several times, I thought. I mean, wouldn't you say that's the case? I mean, I didn't hear your full thoughts on everything, so if I'm asking you to repeat yourself, I'm sorry.
Yeah, can you hear me? Because they were in the chat, they can't hear me.
Yeah, that's because that's that delay. You know what I mean? You know how we had that like that 20-second delay. So there's
right.
I can hear you now. When I couldn't hear you, when I dropped out and came back in, that's when you were back. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, give me your thoughts on that though.
But no, I was saying I thought early on Alameda was starting out good. He was being able to mix in on the inside. He was almost doing what Cool Boy Steph had success at doing against Leo. He was able to land some big punches. He worked well off that lead right hand. His right hand was money in this fight on Alameda, and on Angelio, and he started to swell Angelo's eye up. He started putting real good paint on that eye. That right hand was active. His movement was good, and he was scoring in well in those early stages. But in round five, he hit pay dirt. Angelio started to separate himself. And from that point into the fight, I think I was giving every single round to Leo. What's his name? Alameda couldn't keep up with that pace. He could not keep with the pace. Angelo started to kind of bully this guy, walking, pressing him against the ropes, going to work on him. Every now and then you would catch Alameda landing a nice big shot, but it just wasn't enough. And from there, I just had from about 5 all the way to the end of the fight, I ended up having Leo winning all the straight rounds. That's my thoughts on that.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm not mad at the decision, although I had it for Alameda for 1 round. I thought that the way he fought, he seemed to be out front and Leo was playing catch up. But like I said, Leo did do enough in certain rounds to he could have stolen rounds or he could have outright won them, depending on the vantage point of how you're looking at it. But salute to him, man, because again, he was the guy that came in as the opponent tonight, and he got his he got his victory, man. I love to see guys come out victorious when they put that effort out like that, and he did do that. I remember I actually didn't see the first 2 rounds. I came in at the beginning of round 3, and I was looking at him and I was saying, man, it doesn't look like Leo's eyes are gonna hold up, for this fight, because I saw the swelling. It reminded me a lot of like Arturo Gotti's eyes when they would swell in the fight. He'd be almost blind by the end of a fight, And I was thinking like, man, what? But you know what? He did a smart thing, Reggie. He went in, he changed the tactics because Alameda could do certain things from medium range and distance. So he got in close on the inside and was working, and then got out of there and then jumped back in there again. So he was, he was changing it up a little bit, but he was fighting from a stronger vantage point. So I really respect, what he was doing in there, and he got a decision out of it. Great going for him. Salute to Mike 202 out there in that super chat. He says, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Salute to you, Mike 202. And if you're a dad, happy Father's Day to you as well. Happy Father's Day to all the brothers out there listening, and to you too as well, Reggie. Happy Father's Day to you.
Happy Father's Day to you too, OG.
Thank you. And Mike 202, I didn't play the super chat chime because with all this buffering and stuff that we have, I think that's also acting up. So I just read your super chat out. Forgive me that you won't hear that this evening on this show, but we'll see what we can do next time on the next broadcast. So yeah. See now, Reggie, everybody's coming back saying they can hear us. So that's that delay, It's a bit of a delay between when we say something live and they hear it and it records or whatever. So, but what about the fight with Isaac Dogboe? Reggie, were you able to see his fight?
No, I didn't catch that because I was doing that other fight. I'll glance over every now and then and catch part of it, but I didn't get to watch it fully.
He started out very strong. He started out very strong, but his opponent, Adam Lopez, weathered the storm early because Dogboe was really trying to get him up out of there. The first 3 rounds, he came out very strong and, throwing everything, and then it had to settle into a fight because Lopez came on in the middle rounds, and then by the later rounds, because it was a 10-rounder, Dogboe looked like, he was fading, and he needed to pull that victory out. I actually thought that they were going to give it to Lopez. Even the 10th round, I scored for Lopez in the fight, but they gave the decision to Dogboe, and he lives to fight another day. He came in with a new trainer tonight. I forget the brother's name. Dang. Well, I can't remember that guy's name. Maybe somebody in the chat can say it, what Dogboe's trainer's name was. But he looked in good physical shape, but he just burned himself out early. He's going to have to learn. He was used to knocking guys out at that lower weight, and now he moved up. And it's not always about being physical. You got to be smarter in there. And I don't think he's turned that corner yet when it comes down to being a little bit smarter about what he's doing out there, because he gassed himself out by like round 5, 6. He didn't have a lot, and that's when Lopez started coming on for him. So, but yeah, you probably catch it on the replay or something. If you want to watch it in its entirety, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to catch it from the beginning. But I kept looking over there. But at moments I saw it looked like Lopez had Dogboe hurt. Had Dogboe trying to hold on. Looks like the momentum changed. He was looking like he started to bully. He started bullying Dogboe, walking at him, talking big smack to him. And even Dogboe looked shocked when he got the victory.
Yeah. And what's this guy's name? The trainer, Reggie. I'm trying to think. He's trained other brothers too.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
If I said his name, you'll know who I'm talking about, but I can't think of his name right now. I think all I can think of is his face. He wears glasses, bald head brother. Is that the same dude that used to train the brother who used to train what's my man's name that Earl Spence beat, that and his trainer was like a father figure to him?
I still don't know.
Because when Earl beat him, he retired after that fight. The brother that Earl beat.
Is that Bondu or somebody?
Not Bondu. Dang. The one that, see, I got all these names in my head, and except for the right name. It was before Earl fought Mikey Garcia. He fought a brother, and that trainer was like his father figure too. I can't think of his name right now. And because he was taking those punches from Earl, and his trainer was like, "That's enough, man. You had too much," or whatever. But he was trying to fight, because he wasn't really a 147-pounder. He had come up from 140. You still drawing a blank?
I don't have zero ideas who this guy is.
Let me see. I'm gonna check it on. I'm gonna look it up on BoxRec real quick. Cause let's see. I'll look it up on BoxRec. And probably when I get to BoxRec and everything, somebody gonna write it in the chat. But he's training Dogboe now. That same guy. Let's see. Hunter. There you go. Hustler Slim. See? I knew as I was going to BoxRec to try to find a dude. Not Virgil Hunter, but the other guy. Do you know who I'm talking about now, Reggie?
No.
Okay. My computer is like, I guess the internet is running bad tonight. See, that really bothers me, like when I be trying to think of somebody's name and can't think of it and whatnot. I'm just waiting on the computer now. It's taking a slow time this evening. I'm going to take some of this cash I'm sitting on and get me a new laptop. Maybe that'll help me out a lot too. This one I have. How old is your laptop, Reggie?
About 2 years. I think it's about 2 years.
Yeah, mine is about 5 or 6. But it didn't really get a lot of use because when I bought it for my wife, and she was doing some stuff on it, and she put it down for a long time. And when I decided to start doing the YouTube, you know, that's when I picked up her laptop. Okay, I'm on this page now with Earl Spence, and I'm trying. Lamont Peterson, Reggie. Lamont Peterson. You remember him, right?
I thought you were talking about a trainer.
Right, but the man who trained Lamont Peterson. Remember I was saying he trained this guy that Earl Spence stopped? That's Lamont Peterson.
Oh, but you talking about his trainer's name, right?
Right. His trainer was like a father figure to Barry Hunter. There you go. Somebody finally wrote it in the damn chat. Barry Hunter, Hustler Slim, and Shakers and Dice. They finally wrote it in there. Barry Hunter, bro. That's who's training Dogboe now. You there?
Yeah. What about him?
No, I said that's who's training Isaac Dogboe now.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So
right.
What I was trying to indicate about him having Barry Hunter is, you know, Dogboe is probably going to be pretty much shorter than whoever he fights, right? Barry's going to have to get him to use a timing jab to start any offense, to stop things defensively and whatnot, and to teach him to move more because he's a little guy. and he's got to get in a certain amount of condition to be prepared to move for 10 to 12 rounds and not run, but give lateral movement, side to side, in and out, you know, and work at a high work rate, because he should not be trying to go in there trying to stop people, you know, like that, because he's fighting at a heavier weight class now, and he couldn't take Navarrete stuff at the lower weight. So it's like he's fighting bigger men. So he's going to have to fight with a different type of offensive plan. And like I said, he's fighting almost shorter than everybody he faces. So, because he's a real little guy. And he's also got to be conditioned to get that body work in. So many body punches in a round. He's got it. They got to work on that. They got, if he's going to continue to fight. Because this fight, he almost lost this fight tonight. I had it for the other guy, and they gave him the decision. So I'm like, okay, you know, he caught a break. But there's going to be tougher nights than that.
Yeah, he's a small dude for this division. You still there? You still there, Stormy?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hear you now. But yeah, no, I think Dogboe's just very, very small for the division. He's got to, yeah, like you said, they're going to have to figure out a way with him having these disadvantages.
Yeah. I mean, I liked him when I first saw him, you know, when he first popped up on ESPN and whatnot. But they have to guide him carefully, because, you know, his size and stature, you know, is a detriment. Let's go back to the earlier card. Oh, we gotta talk about this definitely before we go, Reggie. Gabe Rosado. Did you see him tonight?
Outstanding knockout.
Listen, man. Listen. I have said he beat Jacobs. That was my thought and feeling. And he didn't get the decision. He beat Danny Jacobs, bro. They gifted Danny Jacobs that fight. But I said Rosado shouldn't hang his head, because for the fights that he has fought in his career and the ones that he's lost, his outing against Danny Jacobs, it showed everything that he had learned from losses. And you know, he had been cut a lot. Jacobs was trying to cut him in that fight, and we talked about it when we did our show and everything. But on this day, facing that guy Bert the Bully, listen, man, you can't go out there looking to just bully everybody and throw these winging shots to the body because you got heavy hands and everything, like you're some kind of brute or something. Because you're going to run into somebody who can fight and somebody who can box, and they're gonna use that against you. And Rosado did exactly that. And I'll tell you something about those DAZN announcers, man. They suck, bro. The guy said, well, if you take away the punch that Rosado landed, you know, he really only landed like 7 or 8 punches that were meaningful or whatever. And then he was trying to say that you do all of that and Rosado doesn't win the fight. Rosado had to stand up to the man he was in there with. The guy was hawkishly strong, okay, but he had no boxing acumen. He was just a brute, really. And when he caught Rosado with a shot earlier in the fight and put him down on one knee, it was like he realized what he was in there with, and he had to adjust And as he said in the post fight, he said, I had to try to time the guy, time him coming in and whatnot. And he did. Man, was that a beautiful knockout punch, Reggie, or what? When he hit that guy, I raised up off myself. I was like, whoa! And the dude went down face first like Pacquiao did against Marquez. But Reg, his feet were up off the canvas because his knees were on the canvas, but his feet was raised up. He was face down. And it was like he was praying. Oh, the bully. He caught a bullet. It was beautiful. I was happy for Gabe, man. I really was. I was happy for him with his performance against Jacobs. I thought he should have got that decision. But this was awesome, man. He leveled that dude, bro. Humbled him, too. That guy ain't going to be the same after that, Reggie. He ain't going to be the same.
Yeah, no, he mixed him up well, man. I was happy to see him pull this off to get up from being dropped in that first, setting up that counter, because that Gabe threw a couple of counter shots in that fight and tagged the guy, and the guy didn't. It was a clean shot, and the guy didn't like that. He started backing up at one moment.
Right.
And it seemed like that guy only had 2 or 3 punches in his arsenal. And Gabe just set that one up, man, walking himself back in that corner and timed it well, hit him right on the spot, and that was all it was. Single punch knockout. Brilliant.
Dude, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. I loved it, man. I was like, go ahead, Gabe, man. I like Gabe Rosado, especially after I saw him perform how he did against Danny Jacobs, because I recognize, you know what this like, Reggie? It's like Nonito Donaire. After Guillermo Rigondeaux stopped him, and then he lost a couple of more fights. Nonito Donaire, he didn't just start fighting guys that he could beat and stuff. He went back to the drawing board and changed up some things and started learning to box better and to develop his right hand better, because his vaunted punch was his left hook. But by going back to the drawing board and enhancing his skill set, it allowed him to be around today and be successful today. Going into that tournament and everything, his fight with Inoue, his ability to make adjustments and learn from past mistakes and everything. And Rosado has done the same thing. So this is not the man, even though you see a lot of losses on his record, right? It's like, that's not the man who was losing those fights anymore. He's a grizzled veteran now, and he knows how to win a fight. He knows, and I love this. And the fact that he got a knockout against a strong, up-and-coming prospect like that, that does wonders for him. It's like a shot of adrenaline, and I'm happy for him with that. Now his name is in the sweepstakes with some other guys, and that's great for him, because that means he's going to have a chance to make some money and do some things with himself. So I'm happy for him, man. Hats off to the brother. He did his thing. He stopped that guy and left him like a statue. Shit. But yeah. So Beck got decked. And I guess we could talk about Munguia, huh? What are your thoughts about Jaime Munguia and his performance tonight against Zaresma? What's his name?
I can't pronounce it, but the dude
yes.
Triple G beat up.
Yeah, Zaresma or something. Those guys with these names and all these damn alphabets in their names. Man, these letters. So, but yeah, Munguia, that's a big kid, Reggie. He's big.
Yeah. He did a good job. I got nothing to take from Munguia, but I want to see Munguia get in the mix of fighting names he should fight. As good as his performance is, I'm not going to gloat over Munguia. I mean, he talked a lot of big stuff early in his career. To not see him anymore, or maybe it could be him slowing down and fighting where he's supposed to be. But I always had higher expectations. I thought he was going to mix in with folks, and he didn't. But he came out here tonight. He did what he's supposed to and forced this guy to quit on the stool. So I can't take anything away from him, not at all.
Yeah, and as you said, excuse me, it'll be nice to see him get in there with some of the other talent, you know, of the division. But I had said they were going to save Triple G for that kid, and I still ain't. I ain't putting that notion down, Reggie. I think that's what it's going to be. They're going to save that kid for Triple G. Well, save Triple G for him, and that's who he's going to make his name off of. Because Triple G is done, bro. He's done. Because when he fought Cesar Meta, he looked, even though he beat the guy up, he looked bad doing so. How you going to look? Like, when they tried to say Shakur looked bad beating this kid he fought, Nakatia, that he didn't look bad to me. But Triple G looked bad beating Zarazmita because he, when he was dropping the guy, he was hitting him with combinations and stuff, but they were slow. They weren't like the Triple G of like 4 years earlier, And I'm like, the dude kept getting up. So it's like even some of that vaunted Triple G power was no more, So, but I think saving him for a guy like Munguia or something like that, that's what they're going to do. And if that be who push him off the cliff, so be it, So be it. But, yeah, man, those are my thoughts on those fights for tonight. I'll say I learned something today that I didn't know. That chick, Michaela Meyer, hey, man, she got a brother for a boyfriend. Did you know that, Reggie?
But I can look at her and tell what she like.
Yeah, that surprised me. I'm like, okay, so she won't get the promotion like Katie Holmes and stuff like that. She gonna realize that the brother is holding her back because they, and it's too late because it's like he done already had her, so it's like they don't realize what that stuff means when they do that. So she just might as well stick to her guns and ride this one out. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. So, hey. But, yeah, man. I mean, you got anything else you want to touch on or you want to wrap things up, man?
No, that's all that I got.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all that I have on this night.
Yeah, me too, man. But good day of boxing. We had boxing on into the evening again, and I just didn't like them stretching out the Inoue start time. I mean, come on, man. I guess they were trying to make sure it went beyond the Charlo card, But yeah. So go ahead and get everybody some final thoughts, Reg, and let everybody know where they can find you, man.
Yes, man. Another great night of boxing, another great post-fight. Salute to everybody in the chat. And also, I got to say salute to Teofimo Lopez. I think it was smart for him to move this fight out rather than fight tonight. It was just way too much going. So salute to him, man. If he found a way to get up out of fighting tonight, smart move on him. But that's my thoughts on this one. And also, Texas fired that damn sorry referee from the night and that sorry doctor from the night. Get rid of them. Never bring them back to a fight event. But that's my thoughts.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. And my thoughts are, we had another great day of boxing. Sorry for those earlier technical difficulties, but we're glad that everybody who decided to stay with us and rock for the show. We'll be back next weekend. We got Tank Davis. Tank Davis, he's a star. He's coming in next weekend, and we'll get a chance to see him do his thing, man. So that's all we got for you guys this evening. Go ahead and enjoy the rest of your night and your weekend, and we'll catch up with you next weekend with another post-fight show. This is Stormy B-Man, my man Boxing Conversation with Reggie Owens. We out of here. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Peace.